Welcome, guys, to John Football Channel. This is your post review of West Chelsea versus West Ham and Stamford Bridge. Guys, we have done it. We actually managed to claw out a result. We actually managed to get a victory after that crazy first half, us losing 2-0. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's see how the game unraveled, and let's see how we actually managed to win this game. Right, so starting off, going into this game, we went with Sanchez in goal, Gusta as our right back, Chalaba and Balashil as our centre backs, Hato as our left back, Caicedo and Enzo as our CDMs, Palmer as our cam, Garnacho and Gittins as our left and right winger, and Delap as our striker. Well, off the back foot, when I was looking at the team sheet and the lineup, I thought, wow, Palmer's actually going to start this game. I was quite surprised. Um, and then also I saw Gittins and Garnacho. I said, okay, I'll be resting Neto and Estevao. And we saw Estevao has personal reasons why he didn't come into the game today. So yeah, so when I saw this game, and I was also surprised to see Delap. I mean, Delap, um, although he has been doing okay in the last couple of games, but João Pedro last game we'll remember what he did. So I was quite surprised that he didn't actually start ahead of Delap. Then when we go into this game, as the game was starting, you could clearly see we were both teams were fighting, both teams were going head to head and trying to hurt the opposition, hurt each other. And then in the 7th minute, Bowen ends up doing a wonderful cross into the box to see if anyone can get onto it. But surprisingly, no one did. I think it was Pablo who tried to get a touch on it, but didn't. And it actually managed creeping in on the side on the far end of the post. But it is a question. I mean, we didn't get to see the VAR and see if it was actually offside. If Pablo was offside, he was interfering with play. It should not be counted as a goal. But that is a question. If he was on, okay, fair play, it's a goal. But if he was offside, that's not fair on us. That should have been rectified, and it should have been 0-0 from the get-go. Now, as we're progressing from the 7th minute, we're already 1-0 down. We're thinking, oh, damn, okay. Now we have to get a goal and then score again, even if we want to actually get 3 points. Then we'll end up at the 26 minutes. Gittins lands up getting injured. He lands up pulling something. And then Neto lands up coming on for him, which before then, I think between the 7th and the 26th minutes, when you're looking both wingers, Gittins, we all know Gittins is a person that I think likes space. I think most anyone who plays football would like to have space and not being pressurized and tackled. But I think also Gittins is quite soft still. I think he doesn't have that nasty side about him. If he really needs to, he can bring it out. He doesn't have it. There's nothing there to bring out when it's called upon. Um, like for instance, we all know like Caicedo, Enzo, Reece James, all those examples where even Delap to an extent, but Delap I think does it beyond. He actually wants to actually hurt you in a sense where he's willing to get a red card for it. But I think Enzo and them and Reece James, they're able to do it in a subtle way that can tell them leave us alone. Go to the other side of the wing. Don't come near me because I'm gonna break you. That is the idea that these sort of players possess. With Gittins, I don't see that. I see him as he is quite soft still. Coming into the Premier League, I think it's something that he definitely needs to develop. He needs to somehow claw um, his possession. He needs to find a way to say, okay, you got me in your pocket, but I'm still gonna determine how much I can still do with the ball. I'm still gonna hold the ball up, shield it, and play to someone else. And if you're gonna think you're gonna got me in my pocket, then I'm gonna give it to someone else who can probably do something with it instead of me keep going at you and keep losing the ball. Seeing that you have my number. Then on the other opposite wing with Garnacho, same thing. I think when I was trying to analyze the game as the game was progressing, I could see. I mean, we all remember. I mean, Wan-Bissaka has been at Man United. I'm pretty sure Wan-Bissaka and Garnacho play with each other. I think it was an extent of Wan-Bissaka knows Garnacho and knows what he's gonna do with the ball. So it felt like Garnacho was not confident in taking his man on. But it is a question to what I'm busy asking myself now. Have we ever seen necessarily Garnacho take on someone and say, okay, I'm gonna do one or two step overs and I'm gonna beat you? I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think when I look back at all the games he has played, he mainly just cuts in and just plays it to Enzo, whoever's in the CDM position or whoever's in the midfield, plays it to them and done. Or he'll run to the byline and cross. It's not something to say, okay, no, now I'm gonna necessarily do a step over or something, or a Rabona or something, So I think in that instance, hence why we didn't see nothing from our winners. It was quite quiet. And then when as the game was going on, I said, no, there's no ways. If we're not going to be able to use our wings, how the hell are we going to score? How are we going to create chances? And the whole way through the first half, we battled to create chances because of our wingers. And I think obviously with Pedro Neto coming on, it probably took him some time to get used to the game and actually warm up and actually say, okay, I know what needs to be done. I know how to hurt West Ham. So I think hence why we didn't actually get any results or any consolation in the first half. Then in the 46th, then afterwards in the second half, well done to Rosina for actually rectifying. I don't know if some people would call it a mistake because basically he's been rectifying his mistakes. Coming into the second half, the subs that he's brought on, but it is a question to say whether um, you can't say there's a mistake if Leon Rossini was trying to use our second squad to ensure that we can give some rest time to the other players that need it, especially Pedro Neto. I mean, Pedro Neto, he does look like someone who is tired. Um, he didn't show much of tiredness in this game that I could see, but he definitely looks tired. And I think it's the reason why we went with the team that we went with, tried to, knowing that we're playing West Ham and know we're playing Arsenal in 2 days from today. So I think it's a question of how far can we go into our second squad while still getting results and good wins. Because now, obviously, in the second half, he took off Balashil and put on Wesley Fafana, which Wesley Fafana right now, quite surprised this season that he's actually one of our main centre backs. It's good to see. I always thought Wesley Fafana was basically useless in a sense. Um, I think maybe also it has to do with him having injuries, him trying to get back form back then, and then obviously getting injured, coming back, getting injured. I suppose it was quite difficult for him to pick up good form, and good rhythm. So probably makes sense why we didn't see the best of him and why we had very low expectations of Wesley Fofana. But now going into this season, I think our mindset has changed how we see him and how well we managed to use that money that we bought for him um, to affect the team and to use him wisely. I mean, we all thought that might have to sell him and get rid of that money. I think it was 80 million that we spent for him. I think we would think that we'd have to write it off, but likely that's not the case. At least for now, he's able to gain some games and have some form on his shoulders. Um, and then we also took off Hato. Hato also thinks the same thing with Gittins. Hato, I think he doesn't. Um, he's also quite soft. I think also in a sense, maybe he's a bit smaller than Cucurella. But obviously, as you could see, Cucurella, I mean, he's a unit. He knows that he's gonna like for instance the goal that he scored. We'll get back to that in a second. But like the goal he scored, he landed putting his full body into that ball, knowing, hey, this ball's going in no matter what. You can hurt me, you can do whatever, but this ball's going in, and we're gonna get a draw. And look what happened; it went in. I think it's the same thing that needs to happen with Hato and Kittens. That same tenacity that they need to develop. And then in the 50s, and then we also brought on João Pedro. I was quite interested to see how João Pedro came into this game, knowing we're taking off who's this João Pedro. We're taking off Garnacho to bring on João Pedro. So basically, in a sense, we went with a possibly a 4-2-2. Maybe when we're attacking, we were the 4-4-2, and then when we were defending, we probably had Palmer as the right wing, and then we had João Pedro as the cam. And then as we made those charges, the subs, 9 minutes later, we managed to score first goal with Wesley Fofana having a very nice cross coming into midfield, crossing the ball, and then João Pedro ends up getting a small touch of it towards the side of his head and put it towards the goal where the ball was coming, across the post, and then it ends up going in. So very well done. It makes it 2-1. It does. It's a very good thing because we were able to say, okay, no, it was important for us to get the next goal, basically. I mean, we 2-0 down. We needed to get the next goal in order to create some urgency and some pressure against West Ham to say, hey, we could lose this one. So that was a question that we were looking for, and that was a question we were looking to ask them. And then Cucurella ends up scoring in the 70th minute with that header. It ends up bouncing off the post, and I think I can't remember who ends shooting against the goalkeeper, and then it ends up bouncing towards the byline of the into the goals, and then Cucurella ends up hitting it in. So it was very very good to see that Cucurella was able to get stuck in and actually make sure the ball was put in the net. And then we had Reece James come on for Gusto. I think it would obviously create another angle for us to do crosses. Because we know Reece James can do his left foot and his right, when if need be. And it was quite making them difficult to defend us. I mean, if they defended Reece James, we would always have maybe Caicedo or Enzo in the CDM positions to recover the ball and also to cross or to pass it or to do something with it. And then we'll end up getting the goal in extra time, where ends up, I think it was Caicedo, or what was it? I think it was João Pedro. João Pedro ends up, yeah, no, Caicedo plays it to João Pedro, in a through ball, and then João Pedro ends up playing it across the bar, across the box, and ends up finding his way there and ends up burying it just the way that I believe it was Somerville. Somerville also scored his goal against us, very, very same goal. And we're able to get it to 3-2. And then we end up having that bust up that we all remember, going into the last minutes of the game, where Adama Traore lands up wanting to kill, like, looks like he wants to kill João Pedro. João Pedro. Um, I think it is still a question as to whether uh, Adama Traore is supposed to have gotten a red card for he putting his hands on João Pedro. It doesn't really matter to us, but it's just better that, I mean, what is fair is fair. I mean, if you're gonna touch a player like that, you're gonna get a red card. Um, so I think he should get a red card, but also I think guy's name is Thiago also ends up getting a red because he ends up touching we touched, but I think he also touched João Pedro as well, and then he ends up getting the red card and then ends up being sent off. And then we end up getting the 3 points, it being 3-2. And we're going back currently, we're in the top four currently. We need to wait for Man United to win. If they win, we go fifth. So it's very good to see that we are in the top four. I was actually worried going into this game that we are gonna actually lose. Not to say it because of us West Ham or anything, but I think because of that superficial thing of, in a sense, where whenever we go to the next 10th, I said this in the preview, whenever we go to the next 10th of the number, we tend to battle a bit more than we would it's like throughout. Let's say to 45 to 47, we would coast, we'd get draws and wins. But as soon as we get to the next 10th of a number, which we could be like 50, if we get to 47 points, we're gonna battle to get to 50. I don't know why it is. I don't know how come that we end up battling there at the end. But yeah, we managed to get the result. That's all that matters. And we look to the next game, which is Arsenal. Let me know down below what you guys think of the game. How did you see the game going? Um, was it? What do you think of the game? How do you think the players played? Um, what can we do better? I think it is I think today showed, and it was a prime example, and it backed up all the other games that about our team, that we are not fully equipped with a squad to go and challenge for certain trophies and compete in a season, because our second squad is so much lighter than our first. As soon as we take one or two players off, we'll end up losing the game. And what's the point of having a second squad if they can't even get you results? So it is a question as to what we can we do to get to fix that. Is there a way to fix it now that we have Bluco as our owners? These are all questions that needs to be asked and needs to be analyzed and see what's the best way forward. But yeah, this is my preview, my post review of this game. Let me know down below what you guys think. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And peace.